and welcome to the Fort Brox Crypto Podcast. I am your host, Neil Alonzo, and with me is my co-host and co-founder of Fort Brox, Mr. Brandon Don Heath.
Fort Brox.
So with this show, we're going to dive into things really quickly, and we're going to save all the usual banter that we have before it. We're just going to save it. So let's dive into some disclosures. We are not financial advisors, wealth managers, lawyers, brokers, or CPAs. Nothing we're talking about should be construed as investment advice at all on so many levels for this episode.
For this one specifically.
Specifically, we're really driving this one home. I mean, we always, none of what we're saying is investment advice, but specifically for this one, it's not investment advice.
Yeah.
So
it's not insider trading.
No. Poor Coinbase. Poor Coinbase. So in our show notes, we're going to have a ton of links to this episode. Those are available on cryptopodcast.xyz.
Yeah.
And you should sign up for our newsletter because we send out the entire show, links to all our show notes, all in just a easily digestible email each time we drop an episode. So
let's talk about the merge, bro.
That's why this episode is the best ever, right? Because we're talking about the merge.
Yeah, the best.
The Ethereum merge. So
yes, yeah.
The goal of this episode, and we've talked about this, Brandon and I, is we don't want to be overly technical because you can get in the weeds real quick when you're talking about the Ethereum merge.
Yeah.
And there's people out there that, in my opinion, have more knowledge of the subject than we have.
Yeah.
You have Tim Becko in regards to Ethereum. There's been other people on other podcast links in our show notes to those podcasts.
Yeah, if you want to get more technical, this is not the place.
No, not at all. We're here to just kind of drill it down to its core essence.
Yeah.
There are pros and cons that we're going to talk about. Bankless had a good podcast. Coinbase had a good well, they've both had a couple of podcasts talking about the merge. It's been something that a lot of people have been leading up to the merge.
What did Vitalik say? Spank it, bank it, rank it.
I don't think he said that.
No.
So to dive in right away, right? Yeah. This whole thing, as we approach the merge of the Ethereum mainnet, you should be on high alert for scams. This is something that was on ethereum.org, trying to take advantage of users during this transition. So do not send your ETH anywhere and attempt to, quote, upgrade to ETH2. There is no ETH2 token. There is nothing more you need to do for your funds to remain safe. So everybody out there who has Ethereum, this is something that was called out on ethereum.org. You just watch out for any scams. There is no ETH2 token. It's all Ethereum. It's staying Ethereum.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so there is no ETH2 token right off the bat.
Oh. So Ethereum's going to turn into Ethereum.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Essentially, it's staying Ethereum.
Okay, that's cool.
So let's talk about what is the merge.
Because that means it's not a hard fork, right?
So,
or do you have that? Are you talking about that later?
We're talking about
Okay, I'll save that.
Stick to the show outline. You know what I'm saying,
boss.
baby? No, it's all right.
Sorry, man.
Okay, so what is the merge, right?
What is the merge?
The merge, at its core essence, it's just an upgrade.
Yeah.
I mean, if we just want to boil it down, it's just an upgrade.
Yeah, so like one of those annoying windows, it's like in the top right of your computer, it's like, do you want to upgrade? Upgrades are available. And you're like, nah, tomorrow.
You definitely have no choice on this scenario but to update your OS.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and we've heard a lot of different analogies on other podcasts and the way things have been articulated. Some people say it's a hot swap of an engine that's being driven in a car while it's continuing to drive.
Yeah.
And we've heard it's like a space shuttle and you're flying it and it's being changed while you're flying it.
It's a transformer?
Well, so
Optimus priming in front of our face?
Keeping everything super in the tech space. We can go with Star Wars on this one, okay?
Oh.
So in a sense, everything that's been done, being tested to deploy the switch from proof of work to proof of stake, which we'll talk more about.
Yeah.
It's being done by R2-D2 on the fighter plane, right?
Okay.
So you have this engine, which is proof of work.
Yeah.
And you're just flying along. You're doing what you're doing as Luke Skywalker. But R2-D2's up there testing all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
And he's testing a way for him to put in a new engine that's proof of stake.
Beep, boop, boop, beep,
beep, boop, boop, beep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's the entire Ethereum group, man. They're R2-D2 and they're changing this shit over. And then the merge, what it's meant to do is to finally make that switch.
Yeah.
And once it moves to proof of stake, you're now flying with that proof of stake engine.
Yeah.
And proof of work is gone.
So hopefully for them, it's seamless and...
Hopefully for all of us.
Oh.
Well, I mean...
Well, I don't...
Okay, so here's a little bit of more of a disclosure. We do have... I know I do. Actually, I don't know if you do. I hold some Ethereum. And I do have Ethereum-based NFTs.
No comment.
No comment. Okay.
Yeah, I do have some Ethereum-based NFTs, but I don't actually hold any currently.
So to understand also, too, everybody who's talking about Ethereum or anybody who's talking about really any topic in any space, not just crypto, you need to understand the context in which they have a point of view. Mm-hmm. From our point of view, I'll speak to myself, and then please share your point of view, Brandon, is coming from a place where I got into crypto because I love the tech, but I also love the fact that we could do crypto mining.
Yeah.
And we'll address the situation with Ethereum and crypto mining here in this episode. But you need to understand our point of view because it helps articulate the context in which the information we're providing you with. So I like crypto mining. I love the idea that we're able to make money in crypto without having to invest the same amount of just buying it.
Yeah.
I love it on so many levels. As somebody who has an understanding of real estate, and I do a lot of real estate investing, it's almost, there's so many ways to look at it in a similar way of how because you have appreciation of crypto, because it can go up in value. And then there's ways that you can also generate ROI based on what does it look like across the year, based upon how much you're spending on your hardware and your upkeep. It's almost like having a rental. Now, the idea, too, is that you're going to have the appreciation play that house will go up.
Yeah.
And that's why I love it.
That's the hope.
And that's the point of view I have. So I don't necessarily have any allegiances to any chain, any blockchain, any token.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's which one actually has utility, because there's so many shit coins out there.
Yeah.
And which is actually of value. But I also am a believer that not all crypto is actual currency.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is tech related.
Yeah.
Then there's the store of value side of things, but it's not all meant to be spent and used as cash, digital cash. So that's my point of view.
Yeah.
What's your point of view that you're coming from?
But with which part?
As far as crypto, like from the point of view you're going to have about the discussion we're having with the merge.
Yeah.
Where are you coming from?
I'm pretty agnostic on it.
Are you?
Yeah, I think so.
You do you have a little bit of haterade when it comes to Ethereum?
Yeah, for sure.
But okay, so talk about it.
Well, I mean, we talked about it on our Ethereum podcast. Like, basically, I just think it's a bloated network. And so if you're going to take off, like, the component that I like about it, which is mining, I mean, like, what else is there? You're just adding a bloated network onto a bloated network. But hopefully this does, that's why I say I'm agnostic about it, because I'm hopeful that it'll chill out.
Okay. So now you see from our side of the fence. I am definitely the more optimistic one in this. I think it's fair to say, as it relates to Ethereum as a whole.
Yeah.
Okay. But you have valid points. So I think this is a good time to dive into the misconceptions about the merge. And as much as I would like to take credit for all of this, all these misconceptions that we're debunking.
Yeah.
I can't. It's on ethereum.org.
Yeah, okay.
But we're going to talk to it because maybe people just didn't want to surf through all the different content that ethereum.org has. That website, I'm definitely a huge fan of it. I will say the way that they have curated the information that they distribute is awesome. I love it. So one of them is running a node requires staking 32 Ethereum. So that's a misconception. So it's false. Anyone is free to sync their own self-verified copy of Ethereum. No ETH is required. But you need to understand, and we've talked about this because we're into mining.
Yeah.
And we've looked at staking. There's a difference between running a node and staking Ethereum as a validator. If you want to stake Ethereum as a validator, you do need 32 Ethereum.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing that isn't debunked as far as a misconception either is how much is going to yield once you stake your Ethereum.
Yeah.
I've heard and listened on other podcasts. There's great debate about what it's ultimately going to be. If you are performing at, let's say, 10% yield year over year, as far as your staking, that's a good number. That's a really good number. If you understand real estate investing, it helps because it your expectations of how much you're going to make is great. If you're like a lot of people we've met in crypto too, you're not going to become this huge mega millionaire overnight.
No.
Time has to work its magic.
Possibly.
But there is also chatter that the yield may be really low, like bank savings low, like 1.5% after you factor in fees.
Like VPS costs.
I'm not sure how the VPS side, so virtual private servers, work within this, but to that point, it is a heavy point of discussion.
So, question: if you put more in, say you do put 1,000, is it a sliding scale, just like Flux is?
That I do not know. Okay. I don't believe so.
So but it's just like you get the percentage, whatever it is. Okay,
whatever it ends up being, but it will change. The yield will change over time.
Yeah.
So another misconception that is the merge will reduce gas fees. The merge is a change of consensus mechanism, not an expansion of network capacity, and will not result in lower gas fees.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing you would hope it would do.
Yeah.
But it's not. Okay, another misconception. Transactions will be noticeably faster after the merge. Though some slight changes exist, transaction speed will mostly remain the same on layer 1.
Okay.
So this is interesting. I mean, that was a misconception.
Yeah. It's not like it's slow.
It's slow.
But it's not instant.
When we do our drops after mining, it's slow. And I got to pay out the ass.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why. And we'll get to mining here later in the episode. I don't want to jump too far ahead.
Yeah.
Another misconception is you can withdraw staked ETH once the merge occurs. No. Now see, this is the other side of staking ETH.
Yeah.
Or Ethereum.
Well, staking in general. A lot of people don't know about staking.
Well, there's soft staking, right?
Yeah. Where they just like get it in their account.
Yeah, like on Binance, for instance, when we were staking Harmony 1, I could pull that shit out anytime I want.
True, yeah.
But I had to leave it in for at least 30 days to get my rewards.
Yep.
And I think the minimum was 10,000 at the time. 10,000 Harmony 1.
Was it?
Something like that, yeah. But it was such a nominal fee at the time. But having said that,
but yeah.
Staking withdrawals are not yet enabled with the merge. The following Shanghai upgrade will enable staking withdrawals. This could take some time.
So you just go put your staking in. You're like, oh, cool, I'm going to stake my 100 ETH. And then don't know when you can unstake.
Pretty much. I mean, they have some guesstimations of when it can happen. But here's the thing. The merge it started in 2017.
Yeah.
It's 2022.
Yeah.
It's been pushed back several times.
Well, I mean, yeah. That's
rightfully so.
Yeah, you don't want to...
You don't want to rush this shit. Yeah. You really don't want to rush this shit.
But I do feel like they came in before I thought they would. I thought it was going to happen in 2024. I was just like, oh, there's no way they can...
Well, again,
figure this out.
That's why we talked about our points of view.
Yeah.
So, for those who like crypto speak, Brandon is bearish as it relates to certain things with Ethereum. Not so much on their value, more as their whole execution.
Yeah.
I'm more bullish than Brandon is.
Beautiful coin.
It is.
Yeah.
No, what they do.
Yeah.
I love what they do.
Absolutely.
The market that they've opened up the world of crypto would not be where it is today without it.
Absolutely not.
Bitcoin, amazing. Big fan of Bitcoin. I've even toyed with the idea of being a Bitcoin maximalist from occasionally, especially when the market goes to shit.
Yeah.
But I would like to think that it's not going to be only Bitcoin's world. And one of the biggest reasons why is because you should not be using Bitcoin to buy shit. I think that's just the wrong way. X and O, Nano, that's what I think you should use to buy shit.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's a completely different topic. So another misconception. Validators will not receive any liquid ETH rewards till the Shanghai upgrade when withdrawals are enabled. Okay, fine. Fee tips /MEV will be credited to a mainnet account controlled by the validator, available immediately. All right.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Even when you read that.
Yeah.
So it's saying that they will not receive any liquid rewards. But they will.
The upside of it is all of that goes into back in, so then you're compounding your interest, correct or incorrect?
That I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I think you have the option. Okay, misconception.
Or does it just go like, oh, okay.
So another misconception is when withdrawals are enabled, stakers will all exit at once. False. Validator exits are rate limited for security reasons.
Oh, okay, good.
So there is a control mechanism, right?
Yeah.
Misconception. Staking APR is expected to triple after the merge. We kind of already talked a little bit about this. False. More up-to-date estimations predict closer to 50% increase in APR post-merge, not a 200% increase. Well, 50% sounds like a lot, especially if you were started at 20%. But that's not at 20%.
50% increase.
It's an increase. It's saying predicting, but again, predicting an increase.
So that means if it were at 10%, it'd be at
20.
15.
Well,
50% increase.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, for that 10, it'd be at 15%.
Yeah.
See what I mean? It already kind of confuses you, even when you're reading it and talking about it.
All of these, like, staking, I'm confused by, obviously.
Well, I think a lot of the reason why, too, is...
Because they don't know.
Well, I mean, there is a lot of ambiguity.
That are supposed to know don't know. Well, you're like, oh, interesting. Okay.
So... Let me get to this.
All my money in with you.
Let me get to this other misconception, and then we can start having more of this back and forth conversation about things. Sorry. The merge will result in the downtime of the chain. No, that's false. The merge upgrade is designed to transition to proof of stake with zero downtime. Okay, that is its intent. Coinbase has even mentioned that there probably will be some downtime with them. That's not saying that that's downtime with Ethereum in their mainnet. Going to the beacon chain. The beacon chain is what they're merging to.
Got it.
They're not saying that there's going to be downtime with that for them. But Coinbase might experience a little bit of downtime as it relates to Ethereum just because their platform is talking to Ethereum's platform.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So while you can't blame Ethereum for Coinbase, and Coinbase is a third party that interacts with Ethereum.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So everybody needs to be patient, in my opinion. Because here's the thing. While
if we're not, then people are going to get it's going to be a run on it, and then I don't know.
Oh, so there's a lot to unpack with that one. There really is. So the beacon chain was created to improve the process.
Yeah.
Okay. Sharding is not going to be available yet. That's happening, it's saying, for later, but it's optimizing for scale. That's the whole idea behind sharding.
We can get super when I have Alberto's nachos from
your morning cup of coffee when you shard. Again, for more technical descriptions of what things such as sharding is, we have links in our show notes. We have links to other podcasts that really dive into this. But at the end of the day,
hard D, not a hard T on that one.
But at the end of the day, it's about having more throughput of consensus of data. Okay, it's optimizing for scale. It's the layman's terms way of looking at sharding. You don't really care. I mean, if you do, please go to some of these other show note links. Wonderful people talking about really cool information if you want to go down that rabbit hole, because it is a rabbit hole.
Yeah. Was that the last misconception?
No, the last misconception that we had from Ethereum.org was the merge will result in downtime of the chain. That was a misconception. It's not gonna. But again, why the merge, right? Let's talk about why the merge.
Why the merge?
Why this move from proof of work to proof of stake? Well,
I think it was mostly because of, what do you call it? Like Bitcoin or like these FUD throwers.
Fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
Yeah, that were saying like Bitcoin is using as much power as like countries or whatever.
Yeah. So it is the energy consumption. That's one of the biggest platforms that everybody's talking about, is why the move from proof of work to proof of stake is happening.
Yeah.
Yes, it will be good. To your point, we talked about this earlier. You don't seem to think that it's going to be quite the energy decrease that they're claiming.
Yeah.
Is that true? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, it takes less electricity to run a server than it does a server full of GPUs running at 100%.
Right.
So you will save some electricity there. But
yeah, you'll save a lot.
Yeah, probably. But I don't know. I just don't think it's as much as like people think it is.
I think a lot of people have made a bigger deal out of the energy consumption of proof of work mining over proof of stake. But then again, I'm a little biased. I have to be honest. because I'm into proof of work mining.
Yeah, me too.
Because of its financial rewards. I'm also into it because of its decentralization factor.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we'll get to that more in a minute. Okay.
Yeah.
But the other side of why the merge is efficiency. They're saying that it drives more efficiency and security. They're saying that it's more secure. Mm-hmm. Okay. There's a lot of debate about that statement too, though.
Yeah.
A lot of debate about security. Now the cons are its complexity. It does go up in complexity, and its client diversity. So again, we have in our show notes links to other podcasts that talk more in detail about these things. We're just trying to top line this for you, because at the end of the day, if you're someone who wants to buy NFT on OpenSea that's Ethereum based, you're thinking more about how is my shit going to go down in value any less
right now.
I mean, people are liquidating, and you have all these DeFi protocols that clearly they were built well.
Yeah.
Their models were shit. You know what I mean? So when is the merge happening? Right now it's slated to be September 15th, but it's not necessarily all happening in that one day. That's just...
Yeah. I thought you said September 6th on the Crypto Vibes podcast.
Okay. Let me dive into that.
Okay.
So the Ethereum merge, its official kickoff date, right? It's set to activate on September 6th. The merge itself will be completed at some point between September 10th and 20th.
Ooh,
so it's a window. Mm-hmm. I made the joke on Crypto Vibes podcast that it's like when you call your internet service provider and say, hey, my shit's down. And they're like, okay, cool. We're going to send out a tech. He'll be there between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m.
Yeah.
That's basically what it's kind of like.
Yeah.
It's like they don't really know when he's going to arrive, when is it going to be finished.
Yeah.
And you hope that it gets done right.
So they're launching.
That's an oversimplification, mind you, on years of work of these humans.
Yeah, but going to back to one of your misconceptions, it won't be down for that time. It will still be running.
That's a good point to bring up. Yes,
because the way you just described it, you're like, it's down. I'm like, don't panic. It's not going to be down.
That's a fair point. That was a good call out. So yes, so from September 10th to the 20th.
Yeah.
Again, these are all best case scenarios, in my opinion, because they've never done this before. They've tested it, but it's like flight simulators.
Yeah.
People get so many hours, but it's still not the same. And in this particular case, it's probably as close to the same as it can be, but it's still not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the other side of it. And to that point of the misconception, yes, it will not be down during that time, even though it's going to take them some time to get it done. And I think it can't be overstated that these are humans working on these problems. Mm-hmm. Ethereum Classic already happened. It was moved on to what we've seen Ethereum be for the past few years.
Yeah. Because
there was an issue with what happened. Mm-hmm. Vitalik Buterin has spoken about having a roadmap and a vision for Ethereum over time. And so it's going to evolve, which is great. I'm of the opinion that crypto, especially technology in general, is very similar to artists creating their life's work. It's never really done. If an artist could, they would constantly keep revising their paintings. Yeah. They never would just be like, oh yeah, it's done, it's perfect. They shoot for perfection, but in the world of startups, there's a cliche, done is better than perfect. Yeah, no, released is better than perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's still not done. And Bitcoin, there's been an argument of how long is its shelf life going to be, the way that it's set up. Mm-hmm. And Ethereum, there's been discussion on another editorial and podcast as it relates to how long will this consensus way that they're moving towards, especially with proof of stake, how long is it going to last? They're saying this has more longevity than Bitcoin as far as how long this could last. I'm of the opinion that nobody has a crystal ball on this particular piece, because the tech that we're doing today wasn't around in the 70s per se, or it wasn't realized, right? Mm-hmm. That's not that long ago. No. And look how long ago the Declaration of Independence was written, and the Constitution. And we're still abiding by some of those laws, but they're interpreted in different ways by humans. So that's why we have so much debate. Yeah. So I am not of the opinion that tech is evergreen whatsoever. So you need to be more humble about it. We as humans with our tech of how it gets built, and say, okay, this is what we know today, and these are the informed decisions that we're making based upon that reality. This is how we believe we can help tomorrow be better. Mm-hmm. But I'm only going to be alive for so long. If I'm people that are helping lead this charge. So how do we set it up to be around after those who initially created it can continue to iterate on it? Because it will be a different world.
Oh, yeah.
So having said that, that's a lot to take into consideration that I don't think it's talked about enough, in my opinion. I don't hear enough of the humanities side of crypto. I just hear a lot of crypto speak. And I do love crypto speak.
Yeah.
We are not necessarily, I don't think we've been doing that on our podcast
We're
as
just
much.
living in the now, man.
We're all trying to be present. Yeah, if you want that feel good vibe, right?
Yeah, I'm living in the now, dude.
So this has been, as mentioned earlier, since 2017. So everything that's happened is not being taken lighthearted. Now, mind you, since 2017 too, Ethereum, the popularity of it and people's dependency of what's happening, it's gone through the roof. I mean, it's amazing what's happened, right? It's paved the way for so many other
projects.
Exactly, to be deployed.
I mean, it's cool. It's the open sourceness. They wanted to build a behemoth and have something that could
Their
be
life's
built
work.
upon. Yeah.
That was the coolest part about it, right?
Yeah,
is
for
that
sure.
it empowered so many people, creative people, developers, engineers, to really dive in and build something special on top of it.
Yeah.
And now other people are trying to deploy their own things. And there's things such as Fractally, you and I have talked about.
Yeah.
You have
The SHIB.
TBD's working on. You're so funny. He talks so much shit. So diving into proof of work versus proof of stake.
Yeah.
Okay. We're not necessarily here to educate everybody on proof of work versus proof of stake in that core way, but just to summarize it, proof of work is a consensus of mining. See a bunch of people mining or using their resources to mine to provide consensus. Proof of stake is more about the nodes that you create with what's staked for that particular blockchain, right?
Yeah.
To reach consensus. So again, we have more links to diving into the staking component.
Yeah.
Because it is. That itself is its own podcast episode. Just talking about Ethereum staking, especially Ethereum staking after the merge.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot to unpack there. But that's not what we're here to do. We're here just to touch on the pieces regarding the merge. And one of the things that I'm of the opinion that hasn't been talked about as much, we found information on it, but it's still not being talked about as much, is staking requires hosting nodes.
Yeah.
And where are nodes hosted? I mean, this is
on the internet.
It's on the internet. So it's not like they're being hosted on decentralized platforms. They're being hosted on AWS.
Yeah.
So if I'm hosting what's supposed to be decentralized on an AWS platform, how decentralized can that actually be?
Not very decentralized, Bob.
Well, that's the argument, right? Now, in this particular topic, I want Ethereum to win. I want it to work. I want everything about it to work.
Absolutely. All ships rise with the tide.
Yes, I love that. I love that cliche.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
And it's true.
If it's being hosted on AWS, and one of the greatest tweets I found when we were doing our due diligence for this particular episode was by Anthony Pompliano. It was back in 2020.
Yeah.
He was even talking about it. He's like, it was, this isn't it verbatim. We'll have it in our show notes, the link to it, but something to the effect of, yo, Jeff, if you want to control Ethereum, you got the majority of their nodes.
Yeah.
And there's something real to be said about that. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, again, there hasn't been enough talk about this. Vitalik is kind of weighed in a little bit on some aspects. We'll have links in our show notes because we'd much rather have you do your own due diligence and read through that and interpret it how you want. But one of the things that was interesting is one of the web hosting services that has it, this Hetzner, okay, out of Germany. Hetzner is saying they made, this is quote unquote, using our products for any application related to mining, even remotely related, is not permitted. This includes Ethereum. It includes proof of stake and proof of work and related applications. It includes trading. Even if you just run one node, we consider it a violation of our terms of service.
Wow.
So Hetzner is one of the centers that has hosting for it. So that's interesting, right?
Yeah.
So they can do that. They can terminate the ability to host nodes on their platform. They're not as big as AWS, but they're big. They're holding a big portion of this. Let me see. 15%.
15.
This was as of August 25th, 2022 is what it's showing.
Yeah.
So,
and they're saying, hey, we don't want to do this.
That they don't allow it.
Yeah, they don't allow it. I wonder why. That's interesting.
So that is curious. We could dive more into that. There's going to be a link in our show notes to more of this discussion regarding Hetzner, because this is a bigger thing too.
Yeah.
There is, again, as it relates to the merge, almost every detail about it has a rabbit hole.
Yeah, for sure.
And there's things that we don't know should even be talked about, in my opinion. I don't think it's not that there isn't full transparency about what's happening. I just don't know that we have it all in front of us. I'm sure there's access to a number of things to dive into this, because I'm of the belief too that until the merge happens and everything is moving past that point, I think there's things that are going to happen that weren't anticipated or that were considered lower risk level.
Yeah.
Once it gets into market and starts being used, there's going to be things that happen. There's going to be, I'm sure that there's groups of people that want to try to do a 51% attack on the network. And again, there's other podcasts and shows that dive into the technicality of as to why the security is supposed to be better with proof of stake than proof of work.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that threat is always going to be there.
Yeah.
And the idea behind nodes being hosted on these decentralized platforms, or not decentralized, like AWS is not decentralized.
Yeah.
That's a big concern. I don't know what I mean. Like, how are they going to, could they conceivably host on Flux? But Flux is supposed to be a decentralized platform.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As far as hosting.
If you got 51% on them, then
yeah, I mean,
you know,
there's a lot of ifs.
Yep.
Right? There's a substantial amount of ifs, or how could this actually end up transpiring? We don't know.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily believe that that there's people out there that have all the answers to this either.
No.
I think there's a lot of people that can talk over our heads. I think there's people that can talk in circles about a lot of these things. And I also believe that at the end of the day, I don't believe that there's anybody who's working on this, or I take it back, I wouldn't say anybody. But at the end of the day, I don't believe that there's malice in those who are a part of this project's heart to do anything but try to make a good product.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're trying to do good work. It's just sometimes you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And I call that into question over any human. I mean, I think they have a great, talented, smart group of people working on these problems.
I'm just saying that Jeff Bezos has enough money. Like, why does he need to, like, fuck an entire ecosystem of Ethereum? So, like, there's that side of the coin, I guess. What does he even care that 60% is on his AWS? He's got so much money. I don't think he cares about that. I think he cares about how many subscriptions he's going to sell to Amazon Prime because of the $750 million Lord of the Rings. I don't think he cares about Ethereum.
He wanted,
you know what I mean?
He wanted his Game of Thrones.
Yeah, he wanted. Yeah, exactly.
He did.
He got Lord of the Rings instead. But I mean, it looks awesome. But like, does he really care about fucking Ethereum? I don't think so. I don't know.
Maybe he doesn't care.
I don't really know Jeff personally, but
here's an argument to that. Maybe he doesn't care until he does.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he just cares about it. Are they paying their money to keep their node running?
Yeah.
Okay,
so where nodes are hosted, I have a lot of concern about it just as well.
Yeah.
Again, in full transparency, I like proof of work. Yeah. I like proof of work because it is more decentralized than proof of stake.
Same here.
I am of that belief. Now, there's a good argument to both sides.
Because can you run like a node from your house?
Yes.
But where is it hosted?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean,
so we can move on from this particular topic.
Okay.
I mean, again, any one of these topics could be its own episode because you can dive into them deeply, both on an opinionated level and on a technical level. Yeah. And again, we're trying to go through the merge and just give you the top line notes of it all, right? Yeah. So what will happen to mining? Just mining in general, actually, because Ethereum has been the most profitable mine predominantly.
Correct.
Sometimes other things take first place. Like, what was it the other day you slacked me? Neoxa was more profitable than Ethereum.
Yeah.
Just
And
like randomly.
They have a pretty cool utility.
Yeah.
They're building, what is it? Play to earn games.
Yeah.
And it's a game platform that they want you to build off of.
Yeah.
So I'm like, might. But they run on the Cow algorithm, which is Ravencoin. So I'm like, what's up, dudes? Let's
Which
party.
is part of the Bitcoin blockchain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's its own algorithm.
No, I gotcha.
Yeah.
So, having said that, Ethereum has predominantly been the most profitable coin to mine.
Yes.
I mean, there's been a lot of chatter of where can you go, and there's almost been like this community marketing outreach behind Ravencoin, Ergo, Flux.
Yeah.
Because we follow all these,
Yeah.
because we're in the mining side of things, we're definitely looking at altcoins, especially because it's not Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Bitcoin has its own mining institution.
Yeah.
And it's a different beast altogether.
Yeah.
But the altcoin side of things,
I mean, when you first start mining, you pick a coin that your stuff or that your computer can handle.
yeah.
See, back in the day, it was a 1080 Ti, and I was like, "Oh, what's up? Let me see what I can mine with this." And then it's evolved into specialized programs, and there's a whole infrastructure behind it. But at its core, it's hobbyist. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to mine, you can grab whatever you have computer-wise and go mine a coin. And you're helping out the ecosystem, you're helping out the verification of those blocks, and you're also helping your wallet out. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
I get what you're saying.
yeah.
No,
When I said hobbyist.
no, I see what you're saying. So GPU mining,
Yeah.
now there are players in the space that have scaled this.
Oh, for sure.
It's something we're working on as well.
Yeah.
ASICs, as far as relates to Bitcoin,
Yeah.
that's a different beast of an operation.
Yeah.
On so many levels.
Well, it's a computer and a basically CPU designed specifically for that one algorithm. And so, like, when your computer can no longer mine that thing because it's not as advanced anymore because it's 5 years out of date or 2 years or whatever, then you just have a pile of junk that you can't like rethread it. Whereas with a GPU, if it's 5 years out of date, you're like, okay, there's just a whole other list of coins that we can start mining. So it's just interesting in that aspect.
Yeah. I'm definitely cautiously optimistic as it relates to how proof of work mining will continue. I believe it will.
Yeah.
And we're betting on it. I mean,
Yeah.
we're obviously in the business of proof of work mining.
Yeah.
I was just curious. I'm eager and anxious to see
How it's all gonna unfold.
after
Yeah.
the merge, because this hasn't been done before
Yeah.
in this space. Mm-hmm. So there's no point of reference. There's no case study to fall back on and say, oh, this is what happened. No, this is the case study that's happening.
Yeah.
Good, bad, and otherwise, this is what everybody's going to point to years from now and go, this is what happened with Ethereum and the merge.
Yeah.
We're living through so much history.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of always are these days, but fuck, it just seems like there's been a lot more history the past couple of years going down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? On
For
so
sure.
many levels.
Yeah.
So, speaking of mining, Justin Sun, founder of Tron, this is a tweet he had written. This was back in August 4th,
TRX,
2022.
baby.
We currently have more than 1 million ETH. If Ethereum hard fork succeeds, we will donate some forked ETHW to ETHW community and developers to build Ethereum ecosystem. Because what Justin Sun is wanting to do is back an Ethereum hard fork as a merged approaches so that the proof of work mechanism can continue on its own.
Let's do it.
Yeah, well, I know you're here for that. But one of the things, and this can also can get super technical, is you have the difficulty bomb.
Yeah.
And the difficulty bomb at the end of the day is Ethereum's way of making sure that people move off proof of work to proof of stake. That's what the difficulty bomb is for. I mean, the most shortcut way of putting it. I mean, again, you can go down the rabbit hole of the difficulty bomb.
Yeah.
But that is what I'm taking away from everything that I've read.
When's that supposed to happen?
Nobody knows for sure, but it's supposed to happen with the merge.
Ew.
So it should be coming in September.
Oh, okay.
It should be.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Somebody
Maybe October.
should fork before.
Well, and that's what people are working on. Even Coinbase has something interesting that they're putting together with their staking of Ethereum.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with hard forking completely. They're trying to go down the path of Ethereum, where it's heading after the merge.
Yeah.
But I just find it interesting. It's amazing to me
Yeah.
how much opportunity, how much freedom of doing something like this could even happen. Because once regulation really sets in, if you think about what will crypto look like in 10 years from now,
Yeah.
if the merge would have happened 10 years from now, could somebody like Justin Sun, with all of his resources, even put this out there like that? Could he even have tried to do this? I don't know. Once regulation hits, there's so much freedom and creativity in being able to do certain things with existing technology.
Yeah.
It's not like Justin Sun had to call up Vitalik and be like, yo, can I do this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's pretty awesome.
Well, yeah. If you build something like an open source,
Permissionless.
yeah, you're like, oh, okay. You don't have to ask.
But
You're
that's
just like,
what
you know what I'm gonna do.
So that is one of the things I love about crypto and the technology behind it. That is awesome, in my opinion.
You can have an original idea and then steal people's tech.
Well, I mean, there is definitely that way.
Well, it's not really stealing if you like go, hey, build on this. Yeah.
So how are people reacting? I mean, if you Google this, there's all sides of the fence. You have people that are concerned about what their Ethereum's going to be worth afterwards.
Why would you Google?
Why would you Google?
Yeah, you got Twitter. It's just everybody's reaction.
Oh, fuck. No. So I'm of the opinion that I want to see what people are saying on Discord, on Reddit, on...
But not Twitter? Twitter's where you go for this information.
Twitter's hard.
Their reaction.
So here's the thing. I'm also of the opinion, and this kind of goes to an analogy I have. There is more humans on this earth than there was 10 years ago. That seems pretty obvious. But what's happened is that because there's more humans than there were decades previous,
Yeah.
everything can be in fashion. Like mom jeans, right?
Yeah.
Mom jeans are having its day again.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that tight pants have fallen out quite the way that they did maybe before. There are things that can be on trend
Yeah.
that people are just buying, but that doesn't mean every other fashion that came out before it is off trend to the point to where it's obsolete. No, it's still available now.
Yeah.
So my opinion of crypto is similar in the sense that you have the loudest voices, which right now are the ones really head involved into it. And then you have the people funding it. And then you have the people outside that are like, I don't know if I want to get into it, but I have money, so I'll throw it. And then you have people who are just going about their daily lives that don't do much investment in stocks or real estate, but are interested in it because it's getting out in media on so many levels. And people are pushing out a lot of the negative things with crypto, but people are still being introduced to it regardless.
Yeah.
Right? Once you start seeing Bitcoin signs in 7-Elevens or any Quick Mart, you know what I mean? Or the Bitcoin ATM machines, it's opening up the discovery of it in such a way. I feel like not enough people talk to that audience yet.
Yeah.
But they're also not vested in it yet. I mean, they're not vested in learning about it as much yet. Because
It's like when I used to play music, MySpace came out, right?
yeah.
And MySpace let you put your songs onto their platform, and it just gave you an audience like that you could specifically go after.
Yeah.
So it made touring, even on a small scale, profitable and viable because you could be like, hey, these people, I'm coming to your town, I'm going to be there this date. And then if like 30 kids showed up wanting to listen to you, you could have enough gas to get it to the next town. So you didn't need like the big machine to like push you, because you could push yourself.
I mean, Troy Carter talks about it. So he was the manager for Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
And talks about how they went against the normal machine system to make Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
And it was on a How I Built This with Guy Raz, which I'm a big fan of that podcast.
Yeah.
But his story about Lady Gaga and what they did was awesome. And how it relates to the way crypto can work now is very similar. Different tech and blockchains, or different tech in general, whether it's the coin or the blockchain that people are developing, whatever project they're working on, can have such a groundswell from a very devout audience. Again, I'll go to Fractally, or you even have EOS is bigger than Fractally or BitShares, but the same founder of all three, as far as the tech side of things, I should say, Dan Larimer. It's interesting because they can all have their own place and piece. And OnlyFans showed that with creators in general, is that if you have 1,000 fans willing to pay you $50 a month, like that's awesome.
And a lot of butts.
But they
showed you that with a lot of butts.
How they got to their subscription base is neither here nor there. The fact that it's made available to do, but you can draw conclusions of this. And so going back to the genesis of why we went on this tangent is because there's so many different reactions to what's happening with the merge, whether they're informed or not informed.
Yeah.
And again, clearly there's a lot of misconceptions because there's a whole portion of the Ethereum website, the page about the merge, devoted to the misconceptions.
Yeah.
And again, it's so readily available to learn about. It just takes time.
Yeah.
And that's why I love podcasts, because I like listening to other people's take on it. I like listening to people who are in the know, or maybe I don't agree with them. And again, because people can talk over you, there's all these different things. But again, it's awesome that it's out there. This is happening. I'm curious to see how the merge. I'm anxious because I have no control whether the merge is going to happen or not. So it's a reality I have to live with. I wish it would stay proof of work.
Yeah.
Because I like the returns we've been having. So the reality that we're coming into, I neither like it or dislike it. It's just like, well,
so you're the agnostic one.
Have to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You can only control the reality that you have around you.
So what's going to happen then?
Don't know. We're going to see. It's going to be fun.
I was just reading your note.
Oh, well, they have a roadmap. I know it's in our notes of our outline. So there is a roadmap, according to Ethereum, of how they're going to continue. Again, because they are iterating. This is not the end of iteration.
No.
You can
Beacon, then Shanghai, then
you have so many things. So we'll have that in our show notes link.
We had London before, which was supposed to lower gas fees. Oh, interesting job, guys.
See, so there's that. There's the context of Brandon's point of view. But again, it's all a wait and see on so many levels. This is all speculation. This is like when people do preseason football game. They're like, oh, this team looks great. How many teams are undefeated in preseason, but they do shit once the normal season happens?
Baltimore Ravens.
So
I think they're on like a 23-game win streak in preseason.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
And I knew you knew the team. Yeah. So to that point, let's see what happens when the game starts. And the game's about to start in a whole new way. So that's it for this episode.
Yeah. All right. We're just going to end it right there, huh?
Do you have something else to say?
No.
About the merge?
No.
There's so much. Again, we have so much information in our show notes link.
Yeah.
You could spend probably a week listening and reading through different podcasts, different articles about each topic that we just touched on has a rabbit hole to go down, and a very technical rabbit hole, and a hotly debated rabbit hole, chances are. But you can go to cryptopodcast.xyz to check that out.
Yeah.
If you found value in what we're doing, please share this with others who doesn't like to share value. We'd like to thank the Celebrators for that song intro and the outro. Yeah. That's Brad McLean's band. Big fan.
Happy Labor Day, everybody.
Yeah, it's Labor Day. That's right. So hopefully...
And my birthday.
I know it's your birthday. We gotta go get some pizza because that's your birthday. But thank you again. I am your host, Neil Alonzo, with my co-host and co-founder, Fort Brox, Brandon Don Heath. This recording podcast studio is provided by ADU West Coast and Seal Beach. They turn underutilized garage space and backyards into rental housing units. You can visit their website at aduwestcoast.com. So thank you again for joining us on Fort Brox. It is produced by Vocal Visual and Wizard Cats. And have a great Labor Day.